Hi guys, today we're making a peacock made out of pistachios. The main attraction is its feathers, which are made out of pistachios painted green with many designs. First, you take a circular cardboard and put a thin layer of cloth on top of it. You need to pull out the cloth so that there's no spaces on there are no air gaps on the cardboard, and then stick it at the back. First, you have to draw your own outline of the peacock, and I used a hot glue gun to stick all of the pistachios together. This will make the big part, which is the feathers, and it'll look really nice only when you've done the pistachio shells, because half your work is done. Then you take emsil, you mix it together to form clay, and then make the head of the peacock. You need to take your time and shape it accordingly, because when emsil dries you can't change its shape and it might crack. So you need to smooth it out, shape it properly, apply a layer of powder on top, and then first you make the head, then you make the neck, then with the leftover emsil you have to make the beak. I made the beak a little curvy because it looks very beautiful. I use many professional tools to shape this with powder. I used this curvy one to make the beak properly, and it was sharp, so it was easy for it to cut through the clay. Then I used this curved one to again curve the edges and make it look very fine. I cut off the extra remaining parts of the beak, and then I made the eyes with one of these tools. The eyes look very big, but they're very beautiful. I used foil since we had to use a lot of emsil to cover that area. First I took some foil, then I added another foil ball on top of it, and it's so easy to do since it molds into whatever shape you want. And first I used silver tin, and then I hot glued it because Fevicol does not work properly and it might come off. So then I stuck it firmly onto the cloth, and I applied thin sheets of clay on top. I cut out the extra remaining, and I made designs on the clay. Then I made various patterns so that it looks like a real peacock. They have really small fur and feathers. That's why they have this kind of look. I used a sharp tool to make holes, to make openings and holes. Then I used a thin piece of clay, and I made it into four feathers on top of the peacock's head. Each two of them are symmetrical. Then I took another thin piece of clay and I cut out a little bit, and I used it to make feathers that are in between the big ones and the fur which is on the peacock. And this took a lot of time to make because it was very thin and it could tear easily. Then I used a thin line to put on the eye, so that it looks like the eyelids. This is what makes the eye look even more special and beautiful. First I shaped it out and then pressed it so that it stuck to the emsil quicker and faster. First I took green paint. I added a large amount of green paint and a small amount of black, because a lot of black will make a very big difference. And then I started painting the inside of the pistachio shells. Did you know that only male peacocks are colorful, and the female peacock, which are called peahens, are only black and white? So I took a lot of time to paint this because I wanted to get it around all the corners, and so that it looked very nice without any gaps in between. I painted everything from the insides to the outsides. Since there were only a little bit of shells left, I put all my paint into the sides, and you should also paint like this. You can only see the gaps when you turn it from all angles in a circular motion, so that you can see all the white parts of the pistachio shells. I even painted the sides because you need to give good final touches. And now we're done making the peacock feathers. First, I was not that satisfied with the shade of green. That's why I put another layer on top. I added blue and green to make it look realistic. But I didn't paint the whole surface with this dark green. I only painted the tops of the pistachio shell so that you can see both the shades if you look closely. Then we take our palette, we take sap green. You add lots of blue and a little bit of green to make this indigo blue, and you paint the peacock except for the eyes, the feathers and the beak. Then you paint the body with this same shade of blue with all the designs, and you have to go through all the corners. And if you pay close attention, you can see the difference between the shades of all the pistachio. Then I thought of taking the color gold and decided plating it inside the feathers to make simple designs and simple lines. I'm not lying, it took a lot of time, but the end result was awesome. Then I used this sort of teal color to paint the body of the peacock since it looked too dark, and I decided to shade it properly. Then I took more time to finish up the gold from all the areas, and it looked very nice in the end result. Then I mixed some brown with the gold and used it for the body. Again, I took more of the gold and less of the brown since I wanted to look more yellowish and metallic. After you finished all the designs, you can see how beautiful it's turned out. Then I take gold, white and brown, mix them together to form this perfect golden shade, and I take my brush and paint the beak with it. I try to shade the beak and the body of the peacock, and it looks awesome as you shade it. Now I've used silver to cover up the white parts of the peacock. I added a good amount of silver, and I did the extra ends to make it look like realistic. I painted all the corners so that there's nothing left behind and it looks really delicate. Then I painted it on the insides, crevices, etc. Then I did the eye. I put some golden around the sides to make it look more realistic. Then I started working on the eye inside with a paintbrush. It was a little hard, but it looks really nice. I used some brown to make it. Then I'm making the feathers with a brownish golden, and I'm painting it so that there's no cracks and you can see no clay left behind. I've taken silver and I've used it at the tips of the feathers, and again I used it to double coat the feathers since it was very thin. Then I used beads. I used blue and green beads for the peacock. I used blue small circular beads on each and every pistachio shell. Then I used these green ones. You can only see them if you pay close attention. I decided to use this shade of green because if I used a different color it would look blotchy, and I wanted to keep it simple and still elegant with metallic. So now we're using white to do the outline of the eyes. First I used a large amount of white and then decided to shade it in with the blue. The eyes are the most enhancing part of the peacock, so I decided to not mess it up and to make it look better than the rest of the peacock, since that's where all the beauty lies. Then I applied sequins in the middle of the eye to make a pupil, and as you can see, I'm still giving finishing. Now I'm doing the yellowish whitish feathers. I'm applying gems on top of the body. You shouldn't clamp them all up together or else it'll look too crammed. You have to let them breathe, put distance in between them, and still make it look elegant. Now this is the final result. If you liked it, please subscribe, please like, and please try this at home. It's very easy and you can do it by yourself. And please let me know in the comments how much you would rate this out of 10. Thank you. Bye. See you in the next video.